What's going on, guys? Antonio here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, and let's get into it. All right, we're on joeblow.com. Some of you either watch the YouTube or maybe you do go to the website and check out things. But yeah, I'm subscribed to the Joe Blow YouTube channel. And they've got this article up talking about the new Christopher Reeve documentary, Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story. And they gave it a really positive review. I actually did go and check it out. We had to find, there were only a handful of theaters in the Nashville area that were sharing this movie. It was only playing the theater here. I live in a town called Mount Juliet. So our theater here was not showing it. So then we looked and there were like two. There was a theater in like Hendersonville and there was a theater in that. So we went to the one in Nashville. It was actually a really nice theater. My wife and I, we got there and started watching the film. It was, I cannot tell you how much both my wife and I enjoyed this documentary. It was so good. It's only playing, I think it's only playing for a few weeks. It's going to be on HBO Max if I'm not, or just Max. They don't call it HBO Max anymore, but just, it's going to end up on Max. But this is a fantastic documentary. I'm going to be honest with you. There are a couple moments where they're showing stuff about Christopher Reeve and it gets really emotional. And you could hear, I could tell my wife knew I was getting emotional. She's like gripping my hand. There's so much stuff that happened after Christopher Reeve's accident. I think it was 96 where he appeared at the Academy Awards, and you could tell people in the audience were welling up and they were crying. It was so emotional because Christopher Reeve, it was like 10 months after his accident, and Whoopi Goldberg, said so. She spoke at the podium first, and then they introduced Christopher Reeves and they, brought him out. And you see the behind the scenes stuff that, Robin Williams and his wife had actually bought Christopher Reeves a van for handicap accessible people. So it was kind of, they had to do a lot of extra prep work to get Christopher Reeve to the Oscars, because they didn't want to announce that he was going to be there. And because he was having so many health complications, they didn't want to, be like, we said Christopher Reeve was coming, and then if he doesn't come, it's a big letdown. So they just let it be a surprise to everyone that he was going to be there. They also talked about the controversy with the commercial. I think it was a Super Bowl commercial. It may have aired during the Oscars, but I remember seeing this commercial where Christopher Reeves, they used CGI and they made Christopher Reeves stand up, get up out of his wheelchair and start walking. And there were a lot of disabled people that were very offended by that commercial, because they were like, you don't care about being disabled. You just want to get out of your chair and walk again. And they actually showed an interview that Christopher Reeve did in response to that, where he was just like, I understand that if you're in your chair and you've accepted it, that's your reality. But he said, this isn't my reality. He said, this is my current situation, but I plan on getting out of this chair and walking again. And I mean, it was so powerful. One little nitpick, which I mentioned to my wife, because they did show where Christopher Reeves decided, you know what, maybe I can, maybe I'm not in front of the camera talent anymore, but I can I still have my mind, I can direct. And so he started, directing. He directed a movie with Glenn Close and Whoopi Goldberg called In the Gloaming, which aired on HBO. And I know Glenn Close's character, her son's gay and he's got AIDS and he's dying. And I know Whoopi Goldberg's character is his hospice nurse. And Christopher Reeves, he read that script and he really thought it was, important that he tell that story. They also showed some stuff with him when he worked with, was it Daryl Hannah? They did a remake of Rear View, which was the old Alfred Hitchcock movie, which I actually liked that. I remember when they aired Rear View on ABC, and I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. But one thing I was a little saddened by is they didn't have any of the behind the scenes footage when Christopher Reeves was on Smallville. He appeared in like 2 or 3 episodes of Smallville, and they also had what was it, Margot Kidder ended up appearing on Smallville as well. I think shortly after Christopher Reeves had passed away. But I would have loved, because Tom Welling and Christopher Reeve, they actually they had done some kind of promo together where they were trying to get people to donate to the Christopher Reeve Foundation, which I think the organization is the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation now, but at the time it was still just the Christopher. Dana Reeve ended up passing away from lung cancer diagnosis, and she died just a little over a year after Christopher Reeve died, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because they had all 3 of Christopher Reeve's children, his 2 oldest children, Matthew and Alexandra, from previous relationship that, those children were raised in England, and then his youngest son, Will, that he had with Dana, and who he actually married, because that was another thing. You see this running theme. They talk about how Christopher Reeve and his father, Franklin Reeve, were, he loved his dad, but he felt like his dad never approved of him, definitely didn't really respect him being an actor. And they had a kind of humorous story about when Christopher Reeve got cast as Superman. His dad was overjoyed and ordered champagne to celebrate, and they ended up paying the story off by saying that Christopher Reeve's father thought he had gotten cast as in a play. I'm trying to remember. It was called Man or Superman, and it's a very well-known play, but he respected that play. When he found out that his son was the character Superman, he was really bummed out and didn't like it anymore. But again, there are some real scenes and commentary in the documentary. I thought it really tugs at your heartstrings. Definitely the big thumbs up for me on this one. I thought it's fantastic. When it ends up on Max, I'm looking forward to checking it out. Like I said, it's only in a handful of theaters. It's not, because like I said, I think they're just trying to make sure that it's eligible to be in contention for like Golden Globes and Emmys and all that kind of stuff. But again, this is a fantastic documentary. I highly recommend it. Get in the comments. We're on the road to 3,000. I need you. I want you. Facebook, Instagram. I'm on X. I'm on Threads. All at Akari Press. Type in AkariPress.com. It will take you to my comic book brand, Way of the Gun. I've got the link to that and my Gumroad in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out.